Krishna, welcome to Vibhu Sharma ji. So thank you for joining. So I'll just click on share screen and we'll go here. Okay, just to before I share the screen, just to come back to what we were doing the last 3 days. We spoke about the goal of yoga. We spoke about the goal of yoga is to realize the soul, to be in a blissful state of existence. And yesterday, especially, we spoke about the different types of thoughts, the 5 different types of thoughts that everyone gets. So 5 different types of thoughts everyone gets is pramana, viparyaya, vikalpa, nidra, smritaya. So everybody gets these 5 different types of thoughts. Evidence, that is right knowledge, right understanding of something. Then wrong knowledge, error of something. Then imagination. Then we have nidra, sleep, and memory. So these are the 5 types of thoughts. And I explained that these 5 types of thoughts everyone will have. Even when you are self-realized, you will have these thoughts. But the difference between now and afterwards is now avidya. Avidya is what is causing us to think in a wrong way, and vidya is causing us to vidya, or when we are self-realized, when we have the spiritual knowledge, this will cause us to have these thoughts work for us. So the mind is your friend or the mind is your enemy. So if the mind becomes your friend, so when these thoughts are based on vidya, are based on spiritual knowledge. And these kind of thoughts, so vidya, this knowledge that is there, even to assimilate this knowledge. Now today what we are going to understand is this. So we have these thoughts. Now coming to the point, we want to realize the soul. So there is a journey between the body to the soul. So there is a long journey. And this journey of the soul, this long journey of the soul, is all about purification. There is the body, there is the physical body, there is the energy body, the mind, intelligence, and there is the spiritual body. So the journey from your physical body to the soul, this journey is all about purification, is all about purifying. So if you can purify yourself, so when you purify yourself, that's when this knowledge can flow. This knowledge can flow and we can realize the soul. So at every level, these thoughts have to be based on knowledge. But even for these thoughts to implement, for example, from today onwards, I want to be a perfectly nice person. I decide I have to be the perfectly nice person. But is it possible in an instant to change? No. That's the point, that it's not possible to change within an instant. The change has to take place over a period of time. So it has to be a gradual, upward, systematic practice. This change has to take place gradually over a period of time. Even if I decide today onwards, I want to be the nicest person on the planet, I have to be nice to everybody. I have to be good to everybody. But given your stress, situation, circumstances, and basically inside us, we have our samskaras, we have our character, we have our personality. Now we also, and because of that, we have the influence of the Rajoguna and Tamoguna. We have the influence of the lower gunas within us. We have the influence, all these negative or all these so-called influences that are there. Now, as long as these influences are lasting, as long as these influences are there, if you understand the Yoga Sutras right, if you understand the Bhagavad-Gita right, these forces, they compel you to act in a certain way. And this is explained by, in the Bhagavad-Gita, Arjuna asks Krishna, why is somebody who doesn't want to sin is forced to sin? It's like he's pulled into committing sinful activity. He doesn't want to do it, but he's kind of pulled into it. Just like many a times we are not wanting to eat, but today you just open your phone, you have Grubhub, you have this, you have that, you have Facebook, so much bombardment and stress. People are eager to eat, people are eager to do this, that, there's actually a big push to the body and senses. There is a very, very big push to the body and senses. And how to capture that, how to purify that, that is today's topic. Now, before I go ahead, whatever I summarized, if anybody has any questions, so this is the time to ask. So if you have any questions right now, let me know. No questions? Okay, so you can either ask chat or unmute yourself and ask a question. Please feel free anytime in between. So let me share this with you. So this is the next sutra, and this is where it is. So Patanjali explains to us here, how do you make these vrittis favorable to you? How do you make the thoughts favorable for your spiritual practice? So he says, Abhyasa Vairagyabhyam Tan Nirodha. So it's very beautiful. He says, by regulated practice and detachment, one can restrain the turnings of the mind. So I have explained here. So regulated means one has to practice very, very seriously every day. Abhyasa and Vairagya. So both should be together. You cannot have one or the other. You cannot have practice. For example, I practice yoga very nicely. I have a very nice practice, and then I go and eat like anything. I don't have control over my tongue. I practice yoga very nicely and I overeat. I overfill myself. So that is not good. Abhyasa, Vairagya, Abhyam. So there needs to be both, Abhyasa and Vairagya. So Abhyasa and Vairagya, both should be there. So only Abhyasa is there, then good practice. But then you are seeing that the practice is not giving the desired result. Why is practice not giving you the desired result? Because the Vairagya is not there. So if you want, not just yogis. For example, even if you see ethical businessmen, In India, for example, there is Ratan Tata, and he values not just the money, but he also values the people. And we can see that when the Taj Hotel was attacked in India, there was uh, the Taj, after the whole attack was, it had to be repaired. And even while the repair was going on, he ensured that he paid his staff till the hotel was ready, because he did not want them to feel insecure, or he did not want to lose them. If somebody is very attached and very attached about that money part, and is not detached, even as they say, earn with integrity and donate with compassion. Earn with integrity and donate with compassion, they say. Spend with compassion. Earn with integrity, spend with compassion. So compassion is also a kind of detachment. I remember uh, many incidents actually, but prominently, um, in general, even great kings, they become they have to be detached. Because if a king becomes very attached, that's what happened to the recent kings. That's why everybody lost their position. If you see the Vedic kings, the kings described in the Vedas, they not only ruled, but at the same time, they were like family. He was like a father, and he treated all his subjects like his children. So he was completely sense controlled. That's why the king was a representative of God. Whereas when the king becomes attached to sense pleasure, then all the poisonous thoughts come when you are when you are addicted to sense pleasure. So how about this? So practice should be there. By practice, we get development. By any practice, you practice sports, you practice yoga, you get some benefit. But then if you do not have detachment, if you engage in pleasures, then you are going one step forward, three steps back. So abhyasa means regulated practice. Means another thing about practice is people do one day. In Kannada we call it Aramba Shura. Means he is very good at day one. Day two is absent. Day three is nowhere to be seen. So practice means something that you have done consistently over a period of time. And after practicing regularly, then you also become detached, because you know you are growing, you are getting benefits, but you know that this is not the end. See, the thing is, a yogi, if you see the Yoga Sutras, a yogi also gets siddhis. A yogi also gets siddhis. So siddhis means benefits. He gets superpowers. He can walk on water. He can make himself lighter than cotton. All these things are there. If the yogi gets caught up in that, if the yogi misuses those powers, then the yogi cannot grow spiritually. So that's the point. So the point is that if the yogi gets caught up with trying to enjoy the benefits of that practice, then he cannot go further. He will remain there because he is enjoying benefits. He is using the benefit that is gotten there. It's just like I earn some money and I just spend it. But when you earn some money, you have to keep it. You have to invest it wisely in the next step. So yogi practices, he gets, for example, it's just like somebody is blind and then they give him, they repair his eyes, they give him new lens, he gets to see, but all he does is watch movies all the time or some crazy movies all the time. That's just a waste of it. So similarly, by practice of yoga, any type of spiritual activity, over a period of time, you get benefit. But at one point of time, the danger is in the yogi's heart, in all our hearts, we have desires. Now, these desires spring up whenever you are capable. For example, people come to Vegas. There are so many good things you can also do. You can go to Grand Canyon, you can go here, but then there is also so many bad things you can do. So everybody has a desire. We have a family, we want to do good enjoyment. But at the same time, in our heart, we may have a bad desire. Now, if we do not get detached from those desires and we execute those desires, then we suffer. Then we do not get detached, we do not get the help, we do not grow spiritually. So, by regulated practice and detachment, both together, both should go hand in hand. That is the secret of practice, that when you practice, you should be determined to hold on to that point, and then you should be determined to look higher. I have reached some point. No, this is not enough. I have to go to the next level. For that, what do I need? You are immediately thinking in that way. You have to think in that way, that I am here now. Okay. Oh, okay, here now. Let me enjoy this. Instead of thinking of something higher, you are thinking, no, I am here now. I have to enjoy. Now, that is not the way we should actually think about. We should think about it in a very, very differently. We should think about, I have any benefit that I get. In the Bhagavatam, it says that one should desire only a healthy life. One should desire only a healthy life, and that health, good health, one should use for higher spiritual purpose. So that's what it says. That's all. One should desire good health. So good health means, so what is definition of good health? Good health means your body is energetic, senses are controlled, mind is peaceful. Senses are not agitated, peaceful, and mind is also very controlled, pleasant. Then you are in good health. Good health just doesn't mean strong physical body. Good health also means mental, senses, and physical. All right. So that is this verse, that is this sutra. So any questions or comments at this point? Everybody is able to follow this?
Ji Prabhuji.
Good. Okay. So
Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Yes.
And any practical tips to practice vairagya or detachment?
Yeah, I had exactly the same question.
Oh, any. So first he will define vairagya. Where is it? One second. Here. So we'll get to that, and then I'll get to practice. So what is vairagya? First we need to understand. So vairagya means drashta anusravika vishaya vitrashnasya vashikara samnya vairagyam. So he says, not to thirst after objects you have seen and heard is called detachment. Not to thirst after objects you have seen is called detachment. So basically, to really practice detachment, so if you understand this definition, it says, not to thirst after objects you have seen and heard. Now, for example, If you hear a materialist's point of view, he will say, this is beautiful, this is something you need to see. You need to see the Eiffel Tower, you need to go to New York, you need to go here, you need to do this, you need to do that. So in this way, we develop all kinds of desires. And we need to go to Venice, we need to go do this, we need to eat food in this hotel. So basically, we are hearing some things, we are seeing some things. We see something on YouTube, we see something on, what do you call it? We see something on YouTube, we see something on TV or something like that. And when we see something like that, when we hear something like that, so that develops a desire in our heart. So that develops a desire in our heart. Now this desire that is there, that will not go away so quickly. So to develop Vairagya, it has to be a long-term plan. So when will you develop Vairagya? So comes back to this point, the whole point that Patanjali is trying to make in this book. The basic points he is bringing you to is the point of mode of goodness, where detachment is an automatic state of the mind. So the more we cultivate mode of goodness, so that means as soon as you wake up, you become fresh, you brush, you take bath, and most important detachment is in the food. Real detachment comes when you really begin to eat simple food. So if you really want, so that is where Krishna begins also. Yuktahara viharasya. So detachment begins with the first aspect of detachment is food. So if we are able to control our eating, so that is the first thing that we need to do. That is control our eating habits. So the more simpler you eat and the more cleaner you are. And the third is, if these two things are there, that means you are way ahead in the curve. So today everybody is talking about curve. So diet needs to be simple. If you eat too much spicy, hot, heavy, that's it. Your senses are agitated. So everything lies in the diet. The simpler you eat, the better. Therefore, food is almost like 50% of detachment, because it's very hard to give up taste or to even make a vow to eat. Even among vegetarian food, people eat such heavy foods or such spicy foods. There is no question of a real detachment, because in your heart that feeling will be there. That feeling will always be there, because the mode of passion, so in our heart those seeds are there. From which birth we don't know. In this birth we want to be good people, we want to be spiritual people. The mode of goodness already agitates what is already there. For example, one leads to another. Just like you watch, I've seen people go to a sports bar, right? So they want to watch sports, but along with watching sports, they do dating, they drink, they have drugs, they have everything. So when I was thinking, what is the relationship between all activities? Basically, it's mode of passion that gets us attracted to all the activities at the same time, because they are all in the mode of passion. There is nothing good that you do. So when you come back to the mode of goodness, when you really go to the mode of goodness, that is the real benefit that we are going to get, the mode of goodness. So when you actually come to the mode of goodness, real detachment will automatically take place. It's very difficult to, in the mode of passion or ignorance, to give it up, because it will cause you, oh my God, he is enjoying, I am not enjoying. This is all mode of passion and ignorance. But to be peaceful, I need to be in the mode of goodness. So mode of goodness, wake up early, do your chanting, do your meditation, do your yoga. The morning is the most important time. Once you cultivate mode of goodness, then throughout the day, keep sattvic diet and lifestyle. Sleep early, wake up early. Keep a proper systematic lifestyle. And when you do that, that's when you actually become really successful. That's when things will begin to fall in place. You get the real detachment, real benefit of that detachment. So I hope that answers the question. So begins with the food, and then all other activities. Okay, so any further clarification needed, or that is fine?
That's good, Prabhu. Thank you.
Okay.
Prabhu, I have a question though.
Yeah.
Any of our asanas help, because mind and body are related? Does the pranayama help in controlling the mind and bringing that detachment?
That's what the mind, that's what the pranayama is for.
Okay.
To actually control, because breath and thoughts are related.
So it is food plus our yogic practices.
Practice both. See, detachment means you do things in such a way without agitating your senses. For example, if you see today restaurants or places, they want you to eat more. So they call it binge, they say binge drinking, binge biryani. That is all like doing extra. We don't need it. So detachment means to do whatever is necessary, whatever is needed, just to keep the body and soul together. So we earn our money, we keep it, we use it, and at the same time in our daily life we wake up early, we do our meditation, chanting, exercise, and we eat limited, proper, and we keep a discipline. And that is real detachment, when you do that, real discipline. So definitely every day one has to practice asana, one has to practice pranayama. You have to do it. There is no way out of that. Pranayama especially is the gift. Before Gayatri, one must do pranayama according to the Rigveda Sandhyavandanam. One has to do pranayama to get the benefit. So I hope that answers. So Patanjali is explaining what is practice. Patanjali is explaining what is practice. So practice means Satu dirgha kala nairantarya satkara sevita dradabhumihi. So when can practice become successful? When you practice for a long time. When we practice for a long time without interruption, with full reverence and devotion. So basically, dirgha kala. So practice of yoga means it's not that within 1 week we will achieve success or 15 days we will achieve. We should be ready for years and years of practice. Nairantarya. We should be consistent, serious, steady in our practice. Satkara Sevita. So Satkara Sevita means we should understand the practice in its true essence. Drada bhumihi, and we should be well grounded in our practice. Satu dirgha kala nairantarya satkara sevita drada bhumihi. Such a yogi becomes successful. So one who practices for a long time, one who practices very sincerely, one who practices with full surrender to the Lord, understanding the practice in all its depth. Satkara sevita drada bhumihi. Such a person becomes successful. So practice means something which is done. Not practice means he has to do it till the end of life basically. And he has to progress over the steps of yoga, deeper into meditation. So every day his practice should get deeper and serious. It should be well understood in all its depth. So therefore, when we practice any kind of spiritual practices, we should understand the practice in its complete depth. Drada bhumi, and it should be firm. Such a practice then becomes firm when it is done with such a way. So similarly, we find that at the same time, one should be regulated, one should come to the mode of goodness. So these two things are very important. Practice sincerely every day. Some days you don't feel like, but you have to do. That is success. So when you do it, even when you don't feel like, but you understand that it is good for you, that is real practice. And detachment means to be detached from the results. Suddenly, for example, I'm a yogi. Now, let me give you an example. I'm a yogi, and tomorrow, somehow or the other, I become a millionaire. Now, before I became a millionaire, I used to wake up very early, do my yoga, do my meditation, eat very simple food, everything, and then all of a sudden I got this success, I got millions of dollars, and now because of that money, you can easily get puffed up. You can easily get puffed up, you can easily lose your way, and you can do things and you can completely change. Now I have to enjoy. And when you get that mentality of I have to enjoy now, that becomes a very, very dangerous mentality. And then that Vairagya portion is gone, then to get back to that practice will become even more difficult. Therefore, one has to practice both. If you do not remain detached, you will never grow. Vishwamitra, the Rishi, he was in deep yogic sadhana, and all of a sudden this Menaka comes, and because he was not completely detached, even from such a high position, he fell for her. It's very dangerous. Now, there is something even better than practice and detachment. So the real detachment means not just becoming detached. So Patanjali is saying real detachment means not just becoming detached, but he says tat param purusha kyatehe guna vaitrishnam. Tat param, higher than that. higher than detachment is attachment to the soul. When one realizes the soul, tat param purushakhyate he gunavaitrishnam. So when you practice, you grow. When you detach, you maintain and you grow higher. You go higher. So without being detached, your own samskaras within your heart, your own desires can pull you down, can bring you down. So we should become detached from our own desires, nothing else, nothing more, nothing less. We should become detached from our own desires within our heart. But he says, when you realize the soul, that is real, means for that you have to go beyond the mode. So to get real detachment, I was saying we should come to Sattva Guna. But then real, even powerful detachment is when you go to the level of Atma, when you go to the level of Atma, when you go to the level of the spirit soul. So when you are able to meditate, think of and realize I am Atma all the time, that is, he says, that's it, you have got it, you have got it. That at that point of time, that is even higher than any detachment. So that is why this can only be achieved when we achieve a deep state of meditation. On Netflix, if you watch the movie, there's a movie called Heal. If you watch that, if you ever get time, watch it. Now, in that movie, Heal, a man was literally disabled in his back. His back was completely disabled due to an accident or something. So he thought that it will never come back. His back will never come back. He spent about 15 days or a month. Yes, I'll get to this question. Is the mode of goodness also comes under material nature? Yes. So he spent about 15 days or a month just spending 3 to 4 hours just envisioning his backbone, just healing on his backbone when he meditated very deeply. And when he envisioned his back like that, all of a sudden he said one day his back, he could start walking. That is the power of meditation, which cannot take place ordinarily. It cannot take place ordinarily. So, coming to a deep state of meditation is a very, very high spiritual platform. So regarding this question, is mode of goodness under the modes of material nature? Yes. So the point is that mode of goodness, mode of passion, mode of ignorance, these are already there in material nature. But you grow when your mode of goodness comes to the level of pure mode of goodness. When your mode of goodness becomes purified and you achieve the level of pure mode of goodness, means when you eliminate passion and ignorance as much as you can in your life, to the point they become zero, that is very high. But to the degree you increase the mode of goodness, it is full of knowledge. It gives you a better mirror to see yourself. Mode of passion is a very bad mirror. And mode of ignorance is completely shocking, So where we see a very perverted reflection, but mode of goodness, you are able to see your true reflection. And in the mode of pure goodness, you are able to see yourself. So the more we are able to overcome the mode of these modes and come to the mode of goodness and pure goodness, we become successful. All right. So for this, any questions or comments so far? Anybody has any comment? Okay. So if there are no questions, so I will just summarize here what we are. So basically, okay, I need to go on screen share. So what we did today, we began with the definition of how to control the mind thoughts. So Patanjali explains here, to control the mind, we need to have abhyasa and vairagya. We need to have practice as well as detachment. Practice as well as detachment. Abhyasa, vairagya. And he defines afterwards what is practice. So he says practice means something that you agree to do.
What is the sloka number this, Prabhuji, for this sloka?
This is 12. This is 12. 13. Sutra number 13. Yoga Sutra, Sutra number 13. So he defines practice. This is 13 or 14? Once again, I think, let me just, I think it's 14. Let me see. Yeah, this is 14. Tatra sthitav yatno abhyasa. I just left that. The first one. So it is 14. So 12, 13, 14. So we covered till 16 today. So Satu Dirgha Kala Nairantarya Satkara Sevito Dradabhumi. So the practice, and he says practice with a goal. Before this one verse, he says practice with a goal. Practice should be with a goal. Practice means let me see whatever I can practice, then let's see what happens. No. That's why he says Satkara Sevito. So practice means practice understanding the practice. So even the yoga practice, we should understand the practice. Satu Dirgha Kala Nairantarya Satkara Sevito. We should understand the practice. Dradabhumihi. And then it becomes firm. When you understand the practice and practice properly over a long period of time, then it becomes firm. Drashta Anusravika Vishaya Vitrashnasya Vashikara Samnya Vairagyam. Then he gives the definition of detachment. So detachment means whatever you have seen, whatever you have heard, when you become detached from that, that is real. When you become indifferent to that, when you control that feeling to execute it, because there are two types, like I said, in the mind, there are two types of thoughts. One is called vyuthana, means the mind is trying to execute this desire. But nirodha means mind is restraining, mind is controlling. So the process of meditation develops nirodha samskara, stoppage. And the process of, and material life means we are trying to do the outgoing of samskaras. Tat param purusha khyate guna vaitrishnam. So higher than that detachment is attachment to purusha. Basically, eventually he will come to the point that this can be achieved by realizing Krishna, realizing Ishvara, realizing God and the soul, because soul cannot be realized without understanding of God. Then that becomes impersonal. But even that gives you a higher taste on realizing the soul. But the complete realization of the soul only comes in realization with Ishvara, according to Patanjali also. And that is tomorrow's, the phases of Samadhi and Ishvara. That is what we are going to see tomorrow. So any questions, comments at this point? Okay, so no questions. Any comments? Please let me know. If not, we will start the Yoga Nidra practice. And today we will meditate on detachment, practice and detachment. So practical. So we'll try to get this and try to realize. So as we do every day, so for detachment practice, focus on deeper breathing. You can be in a sitting or lying down position. Go deep breathing. Inhale and exhale deeply. Deep breathing. Completely meditate on the throat region. That's where your breath is flowing. Let it flow deeper and nicer. Meditate on your throat region. Feel the flow of the breath. Completely focusing on your breath, keeping the breathing speed very slow, very deep, feeling relaxed. Let us gradually begin the Yoga Nidra by meditating on our toes. Meditate on all the toes of the feet. Deep breathing. Feel the relaxation in the throat. Now your toes are relaxing. The soles of your feet are getting very relaxed. Your heels, ankles, calf muscles, knees, thighs, buttocks, both, all the fingers of your arms. Try to keep it in Chin Mudra. The forefinger and the thumb just touching each other. Do not press, just touching each other. Feeling the pulse. The palms. Back of the palms. Wrists. forearms, elbows, biceps, triceps, shoulders, shoulder blades, lower abdomen, belly, upper abdomen, chest, neck, chin, cheeks, nostrils, eyes, eyebrows, in between the eyebrows, temples, forehead, top of the head, back of the head, your entire back, deep breathing. Inhale and exhale deeply. Feel your entire body relaxing. Feel your entire body completely relaxed, energized. Now gradually meditate on your throat, just the breath. As you breathe deeply, focusing on your throat, feel a mental picture of yourself sitting in that position. Breathe deeply with the throat, meditating on the throat. Feel the deep breath smoothly passing over the throat, creating a feeling of relaxation. Continue with that. Now deeply meditate on your heart region. That is where the prana is, that is where the thoughts are. Meditate on your thoughts, mind. Feel the thoughts relax in your mind. Feel the thoughts, feel the mind completely relaxed. The mind can be controlled by regular practice. In your heart is your mind, where all the thoughts emanate. By the practice of the physical body and in the mind, we can overcome. By proper detachment, we will overcome all the drawbacks. Be prepared to practice every day, understanding I will practice my asana, pranayama, chanting, meditation with all humility and surrender to the Lord. And become completely relaxed. And by doing that on a regular basis, we will become successful. We will be able to overcome any difficulties in the mind, provided we practice regularly, provided we practice in a detached manner. And eventually become detached from the results of the practice and use every inch of energy to meditate on the soul and the Supreme Soul, Krishna, within the heart. The goal of yoga is to connect with the Supreme by becoming detached from this matter and pray to the Lord that He eventually drags us to success. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hare Om. Fully relaxed, fully grateful, and refreshed, rejuvenated. Let us open our eyes and relax. And I would like to thank you all for joining in today. We have a little less people today, that's fine, it will pick up because usually middle of the weeks get busy. So thank you, Vibhuji, Gaganji, Samrajyaji, and Rajarajeshwariji. It's time to turn on your camera just to say bye to each other. And we'll see each other tomorrow.
Guruji, thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Prabhu.
Yes, Hare Krishna.
I don't see that we are going to get transformed tonight, but all these kinds of keep reflecting, keep listening, keep listening, keep listening, I think that itself becomes a part of the purification. So it becomes our second nature sometime.
Yeah. No, it's a question of developing the practice.
Yeah.
And when you do that over a period of time, it becomes your nature.
Yeah, second nature.
Yeah. All right, Mataji. Hare Krishna. Thank you.